The drama surrounding Angel Reese's return to the WNBA hardwood was the kind of storyline that almost writes itself, but not in the way the Chicago Sky had hoped. For nearly a month, their self-proclaimed franchise centerpiece vanished from the lineup, shrouded in mystery, with only vague mentions of a back injury and cryptic comments about learning about herself filling the silence. The team was spiraling, their playoff hopes dangling by a thread, and their fans were left frustrated, wondering if their supposed savior had simply checked out during the season's most desperate stretch. When the Sky finally announced her comeback, they treated it less like a regular season game and more like a coronation, complete with bold pink graphics screaming, "Welcome back, Barbie!" and social media promotions designed to make her reappearance feel like the arrival of a superhero. It was marketed as a rescue mission, the return of the missing piece who could pull a struggling franchise back from the brink. But when the lights came on, the crowd filled in, and the ball was tipped. The reality of Angel Reese's return was very different from the fantasy Chicago had sold. From the very first possessions, it was clear that the Sky were still the same team they had been. During her absence, sloppy, inconsistent, and unable to finish games, Reese put up numbers that on paper seemed impressive. She scored 19 points on 9 for 13 shooting, grabbed 7 rebounds, and dished out 4 assists in 26 minutes. For a player coming off a supposed back injury, it was an efficient return. But the stat sheet tells only part of the story. The moment that went viral wasn't one of her baskets. It wasn't a rebound in traffic or a nifty assist. It was her getting rejected at the rim by Seattle's Easy Magbagor, a block so emphatic that the Storm's social media team immediately posted it, sparking a wave of memes and commentary that reduced Reese's long-awaited return to a punchline. Within hours, what should have been a triumphant headline became a moment of mockery, and that's the irony. For all the noise, the marketing, and the hype, the thing people remember most from her comeback night is the clip of her being blocked, another reminder of how quickly the gap between presentation and performance can be exposed. Chicago lost. Again, their 5th straight defeat, dropping to an 8-26 record. Their playoff chances, already thin, became virtually non-existent. And as the final buzzer sounded, fans were left with an unavoidable question. Is Angel Reese really the player Chicago thought she was, or is she simply a carefully packaged product of hype and marketing spin? This return wasn't just about a player rejoining her team after an injury. It was about credibility. Reese was marketed as the face of the Sky, the cornerstone around which an entire franchise would be rebuilt. Every off-season move, every social media post, every public soundbite reinforced the idea that this was her team, her city, her chance to become not just a star, but a winner. Yet here she was, back on the court after weeks away, surrounded by banners and branding that screamed of heroism, while the scoreboard told a very different story. And this is where the real tension begins. Because Angel Reese's story has always lived in the space between hype and reality. On one hand, her numbers pop. 14 points, 12 rebounds a game, and enough double-doubles to keep her in highlight packages and all-star conversations. She has charisma, she has confidence, and she knows how to keep her name trending, whether through post-game quotes, social media antics, or unapologetic swagger. In a league that thrives on personality as much as production, Reese brings both. But the other side of the story is harder to ignore. She leads the league in blocked shots against her, with nearly 2 per game. She remains among the leaders in turnovers despite missing 10 games. And most importantly, her teams don't win. In fact, since entering the league, her franchises have shown little to no improvement in the standings despite her presence. The narrative that she contributes to winning has become more marketing slogan than measurable reality, and the marketing is relentless. Chicago hasn't just drafted Angel Reese, they've bet the future of the franchise on her. When they had the chance to draft Sonia Citron, a versatile forward now thriving in Washington and drawing Rookie of the Year buzz, they traded her away in favor of adding Ariel Atkins, a proven veteran meant to give the Sky an immediate boost. The logic was simple. Put the ball in Reese's hands, surround her with experience, and chase the playoffs now. It was a bold, win-now strategy, designed to fast-track the team's trajectory, but that strategy has backfired in spectacular fashion. Citron has blossomed into a rising star for the Mystics, while the Sky, even with Reese and Atkins, are buried near the bottom of the league. To make matters worse, Chicago no longer controls its own first-round pick. If their disastrous season, Nets the #1 overall selection. It goes not to them, but to the Minnesota Lynx. That means not only has the franchise tied its fate to Angel Reese, but they've done so at the expense of acquiring future stars. They are all in on a player who, so far, hasn't proven she can turn production into wins. And then there's the issue of her absence. The official word was that she was dealing with a back injury, but the details were suspiciously vague. Coach Tyler Marsh even deflected questions by saying, "If Angel didn't say, that's her story to tell." Reese herself offered only the cryptic explanation that she had used the time to learn a lot about myself. Fans expected rehab, updates, practice footage, or even bench appearances during her recovery. Instead, they got silence. She wasn't courtside. She wasn't active in the public eye with the team. She wasn't even visible in the way most sideline stars are. So the vacuum of information was filled with speculation. Critics accused her of quitting once again, pointing to a pattern that had already drawn suspicion in the past. When things get tough, they argued, Reese disappears. And by the time she returned with vague words about growth and happiness, those suspicions had only grown stronger. Contrast that with how another franchise has handled adversity this season, the Indiana Fever. The Fever have dealt with their own injuries and challenges, but instead of unraveling, they've leaned on their foundation. Caitlin Clark, their rookie sensation, has transformed Indiana into must-see TV, not just because of her highlights, but because of her impact on winning culture. Her presence bumps attendance wherever the team plays. Her energy elevates teammates. And even when she's injured, fans buy tickets just to see her courtside. Around her, Aaliyah Boston provides stability in the paint, Kelsey Mitchell delivers clutch scoring, and players like Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham contribute grit and toughness. Together, they've built something Chicago desperately wishes it had: balance, resilience, and a sense of progress.